Okay, so we are recording, and I've got Chris. Pronounce it. It's Boss
Baus.
Baus. Baus.
Hmm.
Is that German? It just seems German to me.
Yeah, it's definitely German. I have
Yeah.
a German father, Italian mother, so I got the whole gamut going on.
Oh, there you go. The European guy. I
Yeah,
love Germany. I love the Autobahn. That was my favorite part. Just driving as
yeah,
fast as possible, and it was such a
yeah.
great. Yeah. Do you get back there often?
Not really. Once the grandparents kind of passed away, there wasn't as much of a need to go back over.
Okay, I
You know what
got
I
you.
mean? So,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
uh, but yeah, I do need to do a trip. It's been quite a while. It'd be nice to go over there and take a break for sure. So,
yeah. So, Chris, you're a what they call the life coach profession. You're a professional life coach, and you
yeah.
actually have a business helping people, coaching people
Yes.
with life, and that's a pretty cool thing these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, I mean, obviously, we all come from assorted backgrounds, and I've done a lot of different things in my life. The major thing is over 25 years in construction management and business leadership, and I started my own transformation through addiction, and I've been in recovery for 12 years. And once I started my own personal growth, I started helping others and realized that I had a passion for that. So I started taking some courses and got certified and kind of turned it into a business.
That's awesome. The Fighting Networker loves talks with
Mhm.
guys like you. What does your
Right.
shirt say? Does that have anything to do with
I am
you?
also, yeah, this is my day career. I'm also the vice president of a nationwide construction company still. So this is Carpenter Contractors of America. I'm the vice president of that company. So kind of, like everybody else, have more than one income stream going on. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
mm.
you like building people and building things, right?
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm about ready to be able to take pension. So hopefully pretty soon I'll be able to do the life coaching full time and follow my passion as far as that goes. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, Chris Baus, it's great to meet you. You reminded me. I didn't realize I did, but I just had to be reminded. We met through Clubhouse, and Clubhouse
mhm,
is such a good place to meet people
mhm.
everywhere, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I it started for me on Clubhouse. A partner of mine started a podcast of her own. It's called Tribe of Transformation, and uh, and just by following other people and jumping on other rooms and giving some insight and stuff, I've created my own network just on Clubhouse. And it's allowed me to do like workshops on Meetup and some other things and invite people from Clubhouse. And that's what I love about the technology now is, I'm life coaching and motivational speaking and those kinds of things all over the world with a push of a button. It's just amazing. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah. So you're networking every day, everywhere, and all the
mhm.
time. It's just part of your nature.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, LinkedIn was a huge part of that for me as far as the business world goes. And since I got into the life coaching world, I've realized that there are so many different platforms that I can, get some exposure and get the word out. It's probably only scratched the surface of what's out there, to be honest with you. You know?
Yeah, and you're also. I think it's just it comes with your nature. You're a motivational speaker. You inspire people, and you get on stage and stuff.
Yeah. That literally started in the recovery world. When I got sober and turned my life around, I realized that going to events and sharing my story was impactful to a lot of other people. And so that kind of got that started. And then, once people realized that I also had 25 years in the business world and had a lot of leadership experience to share, I now do leadership seminars and, summits and stuff like that, as well as recovery and motivational speaking. So it's a really cool experience where I can just share my story and impact people with that, you know.
Yeah, you like to talk. I can tell,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and that's part of what makes a good leader.
yeah.
And that people have a fear of talking, Chris, right? What do you think about fear and people facing fear? How damaging is this for people?
I think it can be crippling for most people, right? I'm very lucky that I started out in music very young in life and
Very good.
spent my early 20s in a metal band as the front man and the
Wow.
lead vocalist, right? So So that got rid of a lot of the stage fright and the fear of being in front of other people. But I have, throughout my life had employees that were incredible leaders, but just so afraid of doing it in front of people that it hindered their career and crippled them, And
How do you deal with fear? Because people struggle with this big time.
yeah, I think the biggest way that I've learned to deal with fear is most of it comes from inside. All right. And it's the imposter syndrome and the unworthiness and the lack of self-esteem and all those things. So for me personally, it was about realizing that I felt unworthy and realizing that I didn't love myself. And once I could start to turn that around and actually like what I saw in the mirror, then a lot of those other fears went away with that.
Yeah, yeah. So you built up your confidence, and that
Yeah.
kind of helped a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you
was
see.
literally just a matter of being at peace with what I saw in the mirror, got rid of a lot of that imposter syndrome and a lot of those other things.
Yeah, yeah. That's a huge jump, and it's like a power that we all have within us, but a lot of us don't use it. You
Yeah.
know.
And I think that's the biggest thing I like about life coaching is that, my job as a life coach is not to tell people what to do. It's to help them realize that they already know what to do.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That's great
And
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's not complicated today, doesn't it? It kind of messes people up. There's so much chatter and so much stuff. Where do they start? It's really basic, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's a matter of, it's like one of my favorite quotes is in order to obtain any goal, you must first properly know the steps. Right. And so most people have this idea of who they want to be or what they want to accomplish, but they have no idea how to get there. Or it's a story that they tell themselves that they don't know how to get there.
Right.
So what my job as a life coach is first to make them understand they already know the steps and then help guide them through the proper steps to get to where they want to be.
Yeah, yeah. And that brings me to the next point. And I appreciate you going into the steps because you have to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, a detailed plan, I mean, step by step, what do you do on Monday? What do you do on Tuesday? It can be, you get back to being scared again. You get back to being
Yeah.
fearful again.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's a morning routine that I do every day. And it literally consists of, I wake up an hour early and I work out and I kind of meditate while I'm lifting weights. And then I go do the coffee in the shower and I do a morning mirror talk. I kind of pump myself up and get my confidence where it needs to be.
That's
And
great.
I do that every day before I walk out of the house because the world can flat out hit you in the face as soon as you walk out of the door. So I've learned that you better be in the spot where you can handle that.
Hey, give me your mirror talk.
For me, it's a lot of self-love, right? It's you're good enough. It's you're a good person. You're a good father. You're a good husband. You
Very
know,
good.
uh, you have the knowledge to take care of any situation. Those kind of things.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. You're your best cheerleader. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
When you look at your plan, I
Mhm.
because I've worked with people over the years, and it seems like this is people are really messed up with their plan. Either they try to do too much or they don't do enough. But there is a balance in that plan. It's kind of like for me, it's always been when I look at my hand, I see
Mhm.
5 fingers, but I see the 5 most important things that I have to do every day. And Chris, you mentioned one of them, which is fitness, right? How
Yeah.
important is fitness?
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I learned the hard way, to be honest with you. Within my drinking, I ended up in the hospital diagnosed with pancreatitis. And it was devastating. And I realized then that I needed to start taking care of myself, or I wasn't going to be around much longer. And
Yeah.
so that really started the nutrition and the lifting weights and cardio and all that, just to I had another kid at 45. I have a 7-year-old son, and I want to be around to watch him grow up. So if I want to do that, I need to take care of my body.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, brother. I don't know about you, but I love healthy smoothies. And I want to kind of go into a quick commercial break here because I'm drinking a healthy smoothie. This is an iced coffee. And for those that love smoothies, I put together an awesome service called Smoothie Text Daily. And a person can receive a text every day of a new smoothie recipe. And they can order it with just a click of the button. It's seamless, it's quick. You don't have to log in. It's called smoothietexts.com. Smoothie greattexts.com, and it'll be down in the description. But you can subscribe, and it's free to do. I've been drinking smoothies, Chris, for like, I'm 61. I've been drinking smoothies for more than half my life, almost 50 years.
Mhm.
And I was into smoothies before it was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
So
I hear that.
anyway, let's get back to the talk. So yeah, nutrition's important.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think for me, it's been a little over a decade that I've been on this personal growth, and a lot of it was physical fitness for me. In order for me to like what I see in the mirror, I need my body to be at a certain point. And then when I see that my body is in good physical shape, it kind of allows me to be more positive about myself and get the mental state where I need it to be.
Yeah. Do you have a home gym or do you go to a public gym?
I have both, and I found for me, I'm more successful going to the gym. My wife is more of a home gym person. She does treadmill every day and those kind of things. But I find that if I get out of bed and I drive to the gym every morning, I make it happen instead of, if I just try to work out here, I might sleep in a little longer, and it just wasn't a good plan for me. So
Yeah.
I'm a member of EOS Fitness, which is right down the road, and I get up at 4:30 a.m. and drive my butt there every morning.
Oh, you are a champion, man. 4:30. I'm fighting for 5 every day.
Yeah.
4:30. Good for
Yeah.
you, bro. That's really
Yeah.
great. I've always gone to the gym. I've had a gym on my whole life. Even when I was a young kid, I put a little gym downstairs in the corner of the basement apartment we lived in, which was like really horrible, but it was a cool little place I'd go to. And my whole life, everywhere I've lived, I've always had the home gym. And I'd go to a gym and stuff as well. I don't mind it at all, but I was brought up with the home gym, so it's easier for me. And plus, my wife will say, like, she'll be at the gym with, she goes every day to the public gym, and they'll say, "Hey, where's Jack? Is he?" Oh yeah, no, he's at home working out the home gym because he likes working out in his underpants.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the part that my wife is attracted to it so much, because she can do it after work, before work, and in her underwear or whatever. She ain't got to worry about nobody looking at her. And
Yeah.
for me, it's more of a motivational thing. If I'm actually paying money for the gym, it kind of makes me want to get out of bed and go more.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's motivating. You work out in your underpants and you look in the mirror. That's real motivating.
Right. I hear that.
Okay.
I hear
Trust
that.
me. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Anyways.
nothing like seeing the love handles and making them want to go away, right?
Oh yeah, you can fake yourself out easy, man, wearing these big gym clothes and stuff. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, I hear that.
But yeah, but the plan is so important, and fitness and nutrition, that's all part of the same, most important thing we need to do every day. What would you say? And for me, there's only like 5 parts to the plan. I won't go into them now in detail, but you have to have a balanced plan. You got to have, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're trying to do well in life, and you'll agree, you've got to have your personal development. I know you're into it. I start my morning every morning since like I was 20 years old almost, doing personal development. I used to listen to Earl Nightingale
Yeah.
and Dale Carnegie, and it was just so awesome because I didn't like to read. I'd listen to the audio. But how important is like personal development, stuff like that?
Yeah, for me, it was the huge first step, right? Is I realized that I read a book, and I can't for the life of me remember the author right now, but it was called "Help Myself First." And
Awesome.
I realized in order to do what I wanted to do and live a life of service and help other people, I first had to get myself right, and
Yeah.
and be able to be that positive, motivated, authentic person that I needed to be to help others. And the physical fitness was a huge part of that. And then it was a lot of mental work as well, right? Which I still do on a daily basis. There are plenty of times throughout the day where if I feel myself getting in the wrong spot, I'll take a 10-minute break and for myself and just kind of get myself back in the right place before I try to accomplish another task.
Yeah. I've got all the tapes behind me. If I showed you a tour of my home office, I got a big library loaded with all the great tapes and all the great programs and all the stuff from like back over 30 plus years, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Dennis Waitley, all these things, the book, Think and Grow Rich, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I loved all that stuff. But I evolved into, I just really study one thing today. I've got a great pastor teacher that I
Mhm.
listen to every morning, and he teaches from the original languages of scripture. And I'll tell you what, everything has come from biblical principles.
Oh yeah.
Everything, all the books, all the talks, everything, it's come from biblical principles.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
And literally that's the biggest thing that I learned within myself, right? Is God literally put us on this planet to help others. That was everybody's purpose, right? And somehow we've got that twisted around and we've lost
Yep.
that ideology that that's our purpose, right? And so when there were some men that were super influential in helping save my life first and then change my life, I realized that that's what I wanted to do for others. Um, and I realized that everything that I went through and the fact that I survived that was because God did have that purpose in mind for me, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And so I used to have a lot of regret about all the stuff that I had been through, and then I found certain scriptures in the Bible and things like that that made me realize that that was grooming me to be the man that I am, and it
Wow.
was allowing me to live this life of service and be able to help others, because I truly believe that for somebody to help you with what you're going through, they have had to have gone through it.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, it's just small talk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just small talk, and what you've been through is what you can talk about from
Yeah.
experience. I could talk to you for, I don't know how long we've gone. I can't see any clocks down here, but we could
Yeah.
go for till Saturday morning. You know what I mean?
Right. I hear that. Yeah. Yeah.
How long have we been going? Do you know?
I think we still have around 10 minutes or so, but we're good.
Oh, that's
We can
good.
go
Good.
as
Good.
long as you want, man.
Yeah. Yeah. This is cool. Okay. So your balance plan is important. If we're going to be successful entrepreneurs, if we're going to do well and be happy and take care of our health, I think a big important one, and I know it is, you're going to agree, it's so neglected, is family. How important is
Yeah.
family? Keeping your balance. You
Yeah.
can't be working all the time. You better have balance with your family. I mean, isn't that right?
Mhm. Yeah, without a doubt. And I wasn't that guy before, right? I was always thought if I could just make a certain amount of money or just get the bigger house and all those things that I would be happy. And finally, one day I realized that, I accomplished all those things and I was still miserable. And that's because I was putting my family like fourth on the list, you know. And when I finally started putting my family number one on the list, it allowed me to get my priorities in an order to where actually by slowing down and taking more time for family, I was happier. So that made me more productive in everything else that I was trying to accomplish.
Oh man, you know the stuff. It'd be so important. Wouldn't it be so great if everybody knew and understood what we're talking about? I mean, how much would this help out, especially the young people today? They got to learn this stuff from their own experience or listen to a talk like this.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is I know for me when I was that age, ego was a huge blocker for me, right? I had people trying to help me my entire life. I just didn't want to hear it, right? And so you have to go through a certain amount of pain before you will allow yourself to be teachable, right?
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, if we could, and I try to work with a lot of young people for that reason, right? If we could just get some of them to get it a little quicker and save them a little pain, that's exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. I don't, even my own children, the last thing I want is to see them struggle in some of the ways that I struggle. Understanding that they're gonna have, you learn from pain. They're gonna have to have a certain amount of pain, right? But if I can guide them in a way to where they don't have to deal with some of the traumas that I've dealt with in my life, then that would be goal accomplished in my book.
Yeah, that's big time.
Mhm.
That's big time. You just brought up the next word that I want to talk about for the last few minutes, in teachability. And how important is it to be teachable? Always, especially like uh, you can deal with authority. You have no problem following instructions. How important is that?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest hurdle that most people deal with as far as success, right? And I
Yep.
dealt with it for a long time too. I I was a leader and didn't actually know what a leader was. right? And I was the micromanager, and I was the one that wanted to do everything myself and wouldn't delegate tasks because I didn't trust anyone and all those things, right? And when I finally started allowing myself to squash the ego and become teachable, then I realized that a true leader is about putting people in an environment so they can succeed, and helping them become a better, more authentic person so that they can be successful. So in other words, a true leader is successful when his team is successful, and it's not the other way. And I think that's the biggest part of being teachable is so many people think that they need to take all the credit and they need to be the one that's pushing all the right buttons and those things. And that's not the case. The case is that you need to put people in an environment where they feel free to have their own ideas and become successful on their own. And then the whole team grows and the whole team becomes coachable.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff, because humility is a big part of that. It's like
Yeah.
humility is teachability.
Mhm.
And when you're humble and you can back off and not be the one that gets the credit, don't care about the credit, help them get the credit, help them grow. You're a people builder. And that's what Chris Baus is. He's a people builder.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Chris, you got anything you want to promote? Anything you've got for people if they're interested? Anything at all?
Yeah, couple of things. Like I mentioned before, the Tribe of Transformation on Clubhouse. Anybody can join. We do a podcast at 3 p.m. Mondays weekly on there. I'd love for people to come and share their insight on that. Also, that's a good way to get a hold of me. And then also, I know you have my email address, so if you can pop that up somewhere for people, I would like to extend a free gift coaching session to anybody out there that is in need. Just because I realize that the biggest thing is most people don't even understand what life coaching is, right? So I would like to extend a gift session, that way they can see exactly what one-on-one coaching is and see exactly what value I can hold for them, and then see if maybe they would like to work with me in the future. So anybody out there, get a hold of my email address, reach out to me, and I would be more than happy to give them a gift session and kind of show them what this is about.
Chris, if you didn't waiver this cost, how much would something like that cost a guy that wants to take some time with you and go through a session?
It literally varies, according to exactly what they want done, but standard probably monthly 500 a month for 3 sessions.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I usually like to get them on like a 3-month plan, and I can cut them a little break for paying for the whole 3 months up front and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got friends that are life coaches that are doing phenomenal, and they're helping out so many people, and they're charging, like, the money is unbelievable what's going on with the life coaching business.
Right. And that's the thing with me, is like, if it's a business thing, because I actually do group seminars where I go in and I coach, 100 employees at once and stuff like that. So obviously those fees are a lot different, but for one-on-one.
And the session, how long is that free session, Chris?
It's an hour long.
That's great.
Yeah, have them reach out to me. I'll set up on Google Meet or Zoom meeting or whatever their preference is, and we'll get to work.
That's great, and we'll make sure we put this in the description here in the deal, so people have access to that. And you and I will be in contact anyway to make sure it comes out clear.
Yep.
Yeah. So I appreciated our open talk here with Chris Baus, awesome entrepreneur, great human being. For those that are enjoying our show, make sure you subscribe to the Fighting Networker. Next week, Chris, thanks so much. God bless all you do, my friend. Bye-bye.